Hello, long time no see. Yeah, I had a lot of plans for December, a lot of content plans. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but it did not go according to plan, December that is, or my content plans. So my household has this tradition where each year for Christmas, one of us has to be ill. And this year, it was me. It was me. I got to be the one. And I decided I would go big or go home and be sick the whole month of December. And I hated it. I hated it. I don't even know what it was. It wasn't anything nameable. It was just like a cold or whatever that turned into sinusy, bronchitis-y, whatever. But I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak. I had no voice. I cough constantly. I'm still kind of doing that. So we're going to have some really weird edits in this video where I'm cutting out where I have to stop and cough. But I could not let this year end without filming my favorites and least favorites of the year. And I think I'm gonna have these go up on like New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but we'll see if that happens. I'm on the mend. I'm on the mend, I think. I have seen the doctor. I have medicine. On the mend. So today, what are we doing? This video is for my least favorite books of the year. And I think I'm just gonna film least favorite and favorite books back to back. You'll see me in the same jammies because I have not gotten well enough to get actually dressed. We're just gonna wear jammies, so enjoy that. Unless I lose my voice, then I'll have to film another day. But yes, so we're kicking off my least favorite books of 2025. Now, I would have to say that I think I had a really good reading year, like one of the best in a long time. And these books, I feel bad because me is the thing that is wrong. Like if I could put all these books in a stack and tell you the one thing that went wrong, that thing would be me. Because none of these books are bad. Some years, pretty much every year, I read at least one book that I think was bad. That it was either written poorly or not read for sensitivity and has just some really horrible things in it. Just something that really makes me think this is just not a good book. And today we're not going to talk about anything like that. I think that all these books I'm going to talk about today are probably somebody's favorite book, just not mine. And I think we've reached the point on YouTube where people can talk about disliking a book without like having to apologize for it beforehand. But I really feel like apologizing to these books because they're not bad. Anyway, let's get started after I drink some water because I already feel it. The first one I don't actually physically have in my possession. It was a library book, and that is Birnam Wood. It is by Eleanor Catton. I read this back in maybe like February or March, and it stunted my reading. I have a problem with being able to DNF books. Like sometimes it's easy and sometimes I know that I should and then I don't do it, because that's what happened with Birnam Wood. I just knew that I should DNF it and I kept like just trudging through, and while there was a payoff at the end, I don't know if it was like a good one or if it felt worth it, but this book was just very much more about I don't want to say the vibe, but like the tone of the book was what you needed to keep track of. Like the things that were happening, there was nothing happening for like the first more than half of the book before stuff started happening. And then when that stuff started, it felt very out of left field and you were like, whoa, what are we doing now? All the way to the ending where you were like, my God, what has just occurred? What have I read? And I think the writing was superb. I think that what the author was trying to say, like the whole thing was just making fun of people, like for the, I guess like the first half at least, is we were just like making fun of these people that didn't know that they were pretentious assholes. And that was fun, but like they don't know, and so they keep on being pretentious assholes. And you're just reading about people who think they're right, but they're actually and I'm not saying that they're necessarily wrong. They just don't know why they think what they think. And they're just very not self-aware, but they think that they are very self-aware, and it's just kind of a good way to comment on some things, but just not like a pleasurable reading experience plot-wise. And I wouldn't say that it has to have a fast-moving plot, but maybe I am. Maybe I am a plot girly. I don't know. This book did start moving at some point, and then it got more interesting, and the ending blew me away in a not like super great way, and I don't know how to tell you like what it's about, because it's not about anything. There's a cast of characters who are all like affiliated with this, I guess you would call it a charity organization. It's not a charity organization at the start. They're kind of criminals. It's kind of a criminal organization, but the idea is good. There's a group of people. They've formed a community, I guess you would say, who are trying to like plant crops in areas that are owned by others, and kind of borrowing the other people's water and supplies to keep these crops alive. And they do like sell these crops for profit, but they also keep some of them. And it's not like it's not on the up and up really, but then it kind of becomes more of a charity organization as things go on, and they get associated with this really rich guy. And then there's some other people that we have the point of view chapters from, and it's all kind of just wrapped up in this organization with the growing of the vegetables. Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I would read from this author again, but I would be open. I would need to go into it very open to DNF if it got slow, because I got so bogged down. It took me like a full month to read this, and I didn't want to read something else because then I knew I would never come back to it. So I just basically put me in a reading slump. Oh, there's another one that I don't actually have my hands on either, but we'll get to that later. The rest of these are basically, and all of these, not Birnam Wood, and all of these are just in no particular order. Like the number one least favorite book of the year, I guess, probably is decisively my least favorite book, but really these could go either way. I'm not going to rank my hatred, okay? So the next book I have is A Land So Wide by Erin A. Craig. This was my first book from this author. I think that this author writes YA, and this was an adult debut. And I definitely can see that a lot. I think this would have been way better as a YA book. And other than like some... Was there steam in this? Was it the steam, or was it the violence that like made it? I don't think it was the violence that made it adult rather than YA. I mean, it's just the character was aged up for like literally no reason. Could have been a young, like it would have worked. It would have worked if this character would have been a teenager. It would have been fine. I don't know if you can hear Nugget snoring, but he's here. He's snoring. But this book follows, I don't even remember, most of these books I'm not going to remember people's names or anything because I've just forgotten. Greer. Greer is in this society that is just very, very closed off. They're not able to affiliate with anyone around them except for like a very occasional intervals they can get supplies outside of their community. But for the most part, they're very isolated. They only intermarry with each other, and they have these like stones that make this happen. They have no choice in the matter. The stones will put you back if you are gone outside of daylight hours. The stones put you back, pull you back into the town. They can't leave, literally cannot leave. And this girl was born there, and they have this ceremony of sorts that they have to go through to marry, and she's about to have to do that. And she knows who she wants to marry, so it's all fine. But then the guy that she wants to marry runs off, and she thinks that it was not voluntary, that he was run off, that he didn't voluntarily go. And so she goes after him and she finds out what is outside of their zone. She figures out how to get out. And then there's some weird stuff. There's some monsters, and then there's like a really abrupt conclusion after like a long time of wandering around trying to figure it out. And then there's like just a lot of like really abrupt information and conclusion, and I didn't jive with it. I don't know that I would have jived with it if it was shelved as YA either, but I think that maybe I would have felt a little better about it. I don't know. It meandered so much, and even though I do think that the idea is engaging, but I don't want to tell you like the whole premise because there would be spoilers in there. But like I don't think that everyone would hate this. I just didn't like it. Okay, I'm literally just picking these up now, like not even looking at the pile. I didn't put the pile in any order, so we're just going with the next one. And we've got The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. And I know that I am in the minority here when I didn't like this. I know this was a very popular book, and this is a very popular author. And I do think I would give this author another chance because I didn't hate the writing. I just thought that I just didn't connect with anything. I didn't connect with anyone. Nobody sold me on their feelings or their motivations. I felt kind of rushed through it, and I felt like the horror was pretty good. Like it was pretty scary, but I just didn't care. Like everybody's trying to figure out what's going on and why. And then we've got the two characters with the will they, won't they. And I just didn't care. I didn't connect with them. And the thing I did like is the historical setting, and that exploration was pretty fun, and I wouldn't mind reading other books that were set in this time period in this location. But basically we're following two characters whose names that I don't remember. Again, Beatriz and Rodolfo. Okay. So, no, wait. Rodolfo is the husband, and then Andres is the priest. Okay, so Beatriz gets married and has to move into this house, and she thinks this is a great idea because her life situation is kind of forcing her to make decisions like these. She doesn't really know the guy, but it's getting her out of another bad situation. So here she is at this new house that she's immediately left in charge of. Husband gone. And his sister's there. She's not nice at all. And then Andres is one of the town priests, and once Beatrice realizes there's something wrong with this house, she gets Andres over there to kind of exorcise it or whatever, and he gets way in too deep with it, and there's a lot more going on, but that's basically the premise. Like, I know that I'm kind of glossing over so much, but that's like how I felt about this book. Like, it's just some people and the house is haunted and stuff, and at the end, that's what I felt about it. Very meh. The next one I have is called One to Watch. This is by Kate Stayman London. I really wanted, and I didn't hate this book. I didn't hate this book. I really wanted to have a different experience, I guess, going in. Like the synopsis kind of gives you this implication that you're about to have a fun time with this plus size blogger, and she's really into fashion, and she's really popular, and she's gonna go on this like bachelorette style show where she is the one that everyone is vying for her affection, and it would be a fun time. And I thought I was going to have an experience where a plus size woman was gonna have a great time and do great things, but instead it was like this plus size woman is going to do those things, but despite the fact that she's plus size. Like, we're going to talk about how she is plus sized like all the time. And I don't mind that they're talking about that. It's just I really wanted it to be less of an issue. Like, I just really wanted her to go on this show, and I wanted all of these men to like be vying for her affection and for it to be real and for nobody to like comment on her weight and not for her to like there's a scene where she has to put on a bikini for the show and it's like a whole ordeal and she's like I really feel self-conscious about this and I don't want to do it and they're going to judge me and like I wanted her to wear the bikini. I wanted her to put it on and I didn't want her to apologize. I didn't want her to have to. And like I just wanted it to be in a world where she didn't have to apologize. Like she didn't need to feel that way. And like the hot guy on the show, like I guess this is gonna get a little spoilery, but like is like leading her on as if like she couldn't get a hot guy. Of course she can get a hot guy. Like of course she can. She's like a great character. She's funny. She's successful. She's beautiful. Like why? Why can't she get this guy? Why does he have to be a dirtbag and cheat on her? Like she could, why? And then there was really no chemistry with any of the men, and I don't think that had anything to do with her weight. I think that I just didn't jive with any of them. I didn't believe that there was any chemistry there, but that's a whole other point. I don't know. I just wanted it to be different. I didn't want her to have to be sad all the time because she was in a large body. And I know that is a reality, that people in large bodies are thinking about that all the time and people are judging them all the time. And I didn't want to be there for that. I just wanted her to be happy. I just wanted it to be a happy thing. And as like a person that is or has had ED tendencies for a long time, reading about how much others are noticing what's on her plate and how self-conscious she is about what she's eating, like just got me very tense because I'm now to a point where I don't think that other people are noticing how much I eat or what I eat as much. Like I don't think about it as much, but then having it like put in your face that everybody's thinking about what this woman is eating all the time. And I'm like, are they doing that to me? Are people thinking about what I'm eating? Are people judging what I've got on my plate? It didn't put me in a good headspace. I wanted more for our main character than that, but I think that the representation was probably accurate. Like, and that's unfortunate. And maybe the feelings that I felt about this are exactly what I'm supposed to feel. I'm supposed to feel angry for people who are mistreated for something that is not an issue. Like, why does she need to be mistreated because of her size? She doesn't. So anyways, I didn't enjoy my time with this, but I don't know. I don't know if those are good reasons, but I didn't enjoy it. Next we have Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. You know what I think this is? I think that this is a response to people's complaints about the Caraval series, because the first two books in that series are amazing. And then the last book just kind of is all over the place. And I think that people were complaining that it was like padded out to be a trilogy or something. It could have been a duology. And I think that what we're doing here is making something that should have been multiple books into one book. And I think that there is a sequel that I probably will not be reading. But this book is following a girl whose name, once again, I cannot remember, Holland. She is taking some classes with a professor who tells some folk tales, some mythological type tales, and she tells them as if they are real and they are a part of the area where everyone is. And people think she's a crackpot. I mean, no one's seen evidence that these things are real. They just dismiss her. But Holland doesn't. And many of Holland's friends, they believe these folk tales more than others. And one of these folk tales, sorry with this coughing, one of the folk tales is about a character who can tell you when you're going to die. And of course, somehow Holland makes this happen. She finds this person. And when she's told when she's going to die, it's like the next day, unless she does this set of tasks, one of which is finding the alchemical heart, which no one has been able to do, like ever, according to like legend. And so she has to do this. and there's lots of hijinks and her trying, there's lots of plot. We're moving. But in my opinion, we're moving way too fast. We're moving way too fast. There's love interest just here, and there's love interest here, and then there's another guy, and there's like 3 love interests in this book, and I don't remember their names. They all blend together. Who are they? I don't know. They're not even named. They're not even named in the synopsis, because how would we know? And they're just on the page for a minute, and then they're gone, and then they're back, and then they're gone, and she's with this guy, and she's with that guy, and like we're not. It's not like physical. There's not. She's not in love with these dudes in a second or anything. It's not that. I'm implying that it's too insta-lovey, which she's very conflicted. And I feel like if we could explore this at like a slower pace where we're not like dying that evening or whatever, then I might have enjoyed it more, because I love Stephanie Garber's characters. I love her romance plots, which I really was trying to get invested in each one. I was like, okay, we're with this guy. He's cute. Let's explore this. And then we're with someone else. And okay. So I just felt like this could have been a couple of books, and then maybe whatever's in the second book could have been the third book. I don't know. But I wanted to like this, and I kind of would give the second book a chance, just in case, because I love other stuff from this author. This book is entirely my fault why I didn't like it. It's Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. And I think that this book made me want to read from this author more, which is a very strange thing to say. But I went into this book with the wrong expectations. I thought we were going to have like a fully sci-fi experience, feel very not very grounded in the real world. And I felt incredibly grounded in the real world, like more than I wanted to be when I picked this up. Like I wanted to escape. And instead it was very real and very, we were very in the head of our main character, whose name I can't remember, Zelu. And her head, it was not a fun place to be a lot of the time, and not because anything was being written poorly, but because she was just a very, I wouldn't say necessarily troubled, but yeah, maybe a troubled individual, but she just has a lot of trauma and a lot of things that she carries heavy on her heart, and it made sense that it was more heavy, and then the sci-fi elements were kind of adjacent. They weren't background necessarily, but they were heavily adjacent. You had those experiences, and then they were over, and you were back in Zelu's head in the real world. And the ending made it make sense, but I struggled because it wasn't what I was looking for at the time. I was looking for I'm definitely a mood reader, and I was looking for something that fit the mood, and this was not it. And so I really had a poor time, but I think that this author successfully convinced me that I would like more work. I just didn't like this one in particular. Okay, the next book that we have to talk about, I finished this book today, and I feel like I'm being most unfair. Well, probably I was most unfair to Death of the Author by just putting it in this video entirely, because it is probably the finest, best written, most impactful book out of all of these that I have mentioned. But also I feel kind of that way about this one. Red City by Marie Lu, I feel like was very well written. I actually said, after I read the first chapter, I said, this is going to be one of those books. This is going to be a 5-star, and I'm going to take my time. I'm going to savor it, and I can tell because the writing is so good. And this was a book that I was really anticipating, really looking forward to, and I read it while I was sick, which I always try to pick something that I know is going to be great when I'm sick, because I really want to just have something to engage my mind with. And this just was not it. It just was not it. I was so sad. But this follows, I actually do remember these characters' names, but we follow Ari and Sam or Samantha. We follow them through their young childhoods up until their young adulthoods, and they are not for a long time but eventually they are associated with alchemy. And that's the magic system of the book, is these alchemical things that they can do with their souls. The soul is like the currency of using this magic. And it's all really well explained and really well developed. I'm not explaining it well, but the book does. And these two, Ari and Sam, they end up at two opposing alchemy organizations. And it's all secret. So neither of them know this about each other until way later in the book. But they kind of have a will they, won't they type of, is it a romance? I don't know. But it's very slow to me. It was very, very slow. It took me like 2 weeks to read this. And I was sick and laying around for 2 weeks. More than 2 weeks. Why did it take me so long? I just could not get into it. I didn't care. Like, I care about the characters, but I didn't believe their motivations. I didn't care about the side characters. They both had relationships with other people that were like explicit on the page, while their relationships with each other were not. So it was organized very, very weird. And there is a sequel where I'm sure that we will see the Ari and Sam relationship develop in the ways that I was wanting to see here. But did I really want to see it? I don't know. I didn't really feel like they went well together. I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like maybe it was the wrong place, wrong time for me, that maybe I could have loved this, because I read the reviews and I was expecting to see lots of other people say, wow, this was really slow. But there was lots of 5 stars. Lots of people gave it 5 stars. So I'm just going to say I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I found this very slow, and I found the characters to just feel very one-dimensional, and I would read more from this author. I think I have a book from this author somewhere on this shelf and that I still want to read. So it was just this one, and I don't think I'm going to continue the series. The last one. And this one I would say is like the one I liked the least for sure. These others, they could all go in any particular order, but The Favorites by Lane Fargo, boy. Now, audiobook wise, I did listen to this on audio, and I think that the audiobook was outstanding. It was fully casted. I thought that was fun. I had a good time with the listening experience, but with the plot experience, not so much. I don't know what it was that I wanted. Like, I love a dramatic, toxic romance, but I just didn't believe that these characters had one. I just didn't believe that they liked each other at all. I don't remember their names, and I guess I could look it up. I could look it up on Goodreads. Who even were these people? Katarina and Heath. Yeah, I remember. Katarina is just a toxic bitch. Oh, she is. And Heath is not much better. Like, they're great for each other because they're just not good people. And I don't need my characters to be good people. But if they can be good to each other, then that's fine. But they can't be. They were not good together. They weren't good for each other. Their relationship didn't help anyone else. It was just, I don't know. I didn't care if they got together in the end. I don't remember if they did or not. And I did not enjoy watching them torture each other, listening to them torture each other, because I listened to it on audio. There were some side characters that were fun, but if the book would have been about them, I probably would have liked it. But it wasn't. It wasn't. I was really angry when I first read this book, and I still am. I haven't gotten over it. I'm still pretty angry about it. Okay, so that was my least favorite books of 2025. And while my voice is going, I'm gonna try to get my best books in today before my voice completely goes away. So hopefully I'll be seeing you tomorrow with my best books of the year. Let me know in the comments what were your least favorite books of the year. Have you read any of these? Did you love them? I totally understand if you loved them because it was me. Definitely me was the problem. The Favorites even. Lots of people loved that. But yeah, I don't know. These were just the ones that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And I had a good reading year. My reading year was so good. So I really didn't have a whole lot to choose from here. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!